This is a week when a billion toasts are raised in India to Rishi Sunak, who we claim as our very own man at 10 Downing Street. How valid is that? In the 1930s, Rishi's paternal grandparents thought East Africa offered a better future than India and migrated there. 3 decades later, his maternal grandmother thought Britain would be even better and took the family there. His family's bets went right because Britain may not be a perfect meritocracy, but the country lays a lot of emphasis on merit, aiding Rishi's rise to the top. In a society like that, Rishi will now be judged on the quality and effectiveness of his work. In Rishi's own words, there's nothing like hard work to success.
I was brought up to believe in hard work, because if you work hard, there is nothing that you can't achieve in life.
But back in India, the nation that his grandparents left nearly 90 years ago, we have juicy government jobs galore. The meeting with the king is done, the appointment is confirmed, and what now lies ahead for Rishi is more hard work. Consider what he faces. Double-digit inflation, rising mortgages. 40% of households could struggle with mortgages, says Forbes. The NHS on its knees, multiple unions on strike, and much more. The point is, a young man like Rishi is more than willing to perform or perish, unlike millions of young in India who still hooked on to juicy government jobs that offer permanence of tenure, fabulous pensions, and hardly any target to meet. Desperation for government jobs never ceases in India. Look at the visuals from Uttar Pradesh this month. Some 3.75 million candidates had registered for the UP Subordinate Service Selection Commission examination, and there was chaos when the candidates had to commute for the preliminary eligibility test, or the PET, on 2 days to 1,899 centers across the state.
परीक्षार्थी हैं जो इस ट्रेन पर सवार होने के लिए आप देख सकते हैं हजारों हजार की संख्या में.
Local media even reported 4 deaths. But why would India's youth literally die to get into government service? One compelling reason is the permanence of job, whether you perform or not, or even commit a crime. For contrast with the private sector, consider how a company like Wipro would treat an erring employee. Last week, Wipro chairman Rishad Premji revealed how quickly it dealt with an integrity violation at the company. Premji said, "You take the tough calls when things are not easy. We let a top 20% in the organization go because there was a huge integrity violation. We made the decision in 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes to sack a top 20 officer in a company that employs roughly 250,000 people. Now consider how a government would treat an erring employee for absolutely repugnant behavior, even crime at the workplace. Here are 3 incidents, all drawn from Kerala, for example, all over the last fortnight and all from the police department. At the Kilikollur police station in Kollam district, Kerala, a soldier, Indivarathil Vishnu, and his brother Vignesh were so brutally assaulted inside the station. The visuals are so disturbing that I won't show them. So disturbing that even the State Human Rights Commission took notice of the matter suo motu. And what happens to the cops? Oh, they all get a transfer. The station house officer K. Vinod, a sub-inspector A.P. Anish, assistant sub-inspector R. Prakash Chandran, and a civil police officer V.R. Dilip all get to work in a different station. Unlike a Premji, the policeman's big boss Pinarayi Vijayan, who is State Home Minister and Chief Minister, is upset when the news spreads and issues a warning against exaggerating the news, which will affect, he says, the morale of the police force. In the second incident in Kanjirapalli, Kottayam district, a civil police officer P.V. Shihab is caught on camera stealing mangoes at night from a wayside fruit shack. However, the vendor decides not to press charges against the policeman, who is now known as the mango thief on social media, allowing him to continue in service. Unlike Rishi's UK, a wayside vendor in India would not want to press a charge against a policeman. Incident 3. A policeman from the Armed Reserve Camp in Kochi City, Amal Dev, is arrested for allegedly stealing gold ornaments from his neighbor's house. And that neighbor happens to be his childhood friend. Will he lose his job? What are you saying? He'll get a transfer. That's the beauty of India's government service. No wonder millions of youth will cling on to overcrowded trains and buses for government jobs. "Oh, don't tarnish the entire government service with the same brush. There are a few bad apples everywhere," is a general refrain whenever government officials are caught for corruption or crime. But there are a few bad apples everywhere, even in private service. But the difference is, in private sector, those bad apples are removed in 10 minutes or in a few days, while erring government officials can go on transfer from office to office all their working lives and then retire to a nice pension. Imagine the Wipro boss telling all stakeholders, "Well, there is this one very senior executive who is doing absolutely unacceptable nonsense from within the company. But please bear with him because sacking him would affect the morale of the company." In fact, sacking him is what will elevate the morale of the company, and retaining him is what will impair the morale of the team. Similarly, the Kerala police is a fantastic police force doing remarkable work, from fighting terrorism to drugs to child pornography to cyber security to kidnappings to murders and much more beside the regular law and order issues. When the top police leadership and the political leadership retain criminals in uniform in the force, that is what dents the morale of tens of thousands of excellent hands in the force. By transferring a mango thief or a jewelry thief or known assaulters to different police stations, the message that goes out is, a thief in uniform or a criminal in uniform, an assaulter in uniform, coming soon to a police station near you. In Rishi Sunak's grandparents' country, India, the discourse is completely different about building a modern nation. The BJP promises to do the Ram Temple. The Aam Aadmi promises free pilgrimages to the Ram Temple. Nirmala Sitharaman says it isn't the rupee that is weakening, it's the dollar that's strengthening. Some economists feel there is some essence in that. And Arvind Kejriwal wants the pictures of deities Ganesha and Lakshmi to be printed on currency notes to ensure economic prosperity of the nation. Believe it, he is a former Indian Revenue Service officer. To go back to Rishi, these are the values that take a society forward.
I was brought up to believe in the power of education to transform people's lives, that it was something that was worth sacrificing for, because that's how you built a better future. And I was brought up to understand the power of small business. I worked in my mum's shop, worked in the Indian restaurant as a waiter. Now those are my values. I know they're all your values too.
With those values and an Oxford-Stanford education, Rishi Sunak would certainly not think of adding tens of thousands of government jobs or printing the picture of Bhagavad Gita on the UK pound to lift the nation's economy. But we as a nation seem to believe that more and more government jobs will solve all our problems. Knowing our sentiments, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is offering 1 million more government jobs. Arvind Kejriwal also promises 1 million jobs. And the Congress is offering to regularize 1.5 million contract workers to permanent jobs if it wins in Gujarat. Many Indians want Rishi Sunak to take the initiative to restore the Kohinoor diamond to India. They don't realize the numerous Kohinoors we have lost, like Rishi's grandparents, and keep losing to this day. This video is dedicated to 87-year-old Eli Kuti Paul from Kottayam district, Kerala, who has age-related ailments, and her sons Rojan and Satyan. When she expressed a desire to see the Nilakurinji bloom in Kallipara Hills in Idiki, her sons drove her 100 kilometers to the place. But on reaching the destination, they found that there was no motorable road up the hill. So the sons took turns carrying their mother on their shoulders and trekking up the 1.5 kilometers to the top of the hill where the flowers were. Eli Kuti Paul has not one, but 2 Kohinoors. If you didn't know, Nilakurinji, which goes by the botanical name Strobilanthes kunthiana, is a flower that blooms once every 12 years and found in the Western Ghats straddling Kerala and Tamil Nadu. On a personal note, a calf born on a homestead farm the day Rishi Sunak had lost the PM race to Liz Truss was named Rishi after his love for cows. This week, we had to give Rishi and the mother away owing to space constraint. The cattle broker told me that the cow and calf were meant for a woman in Pathanamthitta district who was physically abused and abandoned by her husband, and that the local community had raised the money to buy the cow and calf. Certainly, Rishi and the mother will get VIP prime ministerial treatment at the new home. May they live there happily ever after.